Hi everyone, I hope you're all well. Today I'm going to be filming my One Book July weekly update. I know it probably should have gone out yesterday or maybe the day before because I started on Monday last week, but I've had a stomach bug so it's coming out a little bit late. I've actually tried to film this a good few times now and my mind keeps going blank, so hopefully I won't be stopping and starting quite so much, and I'll try to keep a nice flow to the video. I'm going to try keep it short and sweet. I don't have a lot to say. There's a couple of things I've picked up on which I think I will be changing within the next week or so. One thing in particular, but other than that I'm really enjoying it. So just to recap, I have my Midori Traveller's Notebook. I allowed myself some Winsor & Newton watercolours. Sorry about the glare, my lighting is coming from here, which is natural lighting. And Pilot G-Tech C4 pen, my mechanical pencil, just an eraser, a glue stick, and I have only been using one of these. I've just got 3 of them for the water reserve, and I just keep that in my pencil tin. So inside, if you haven't checked out my previous video, I have a diary insert which has a month on 2 pages and then a week on a page with notes, and then I have a plain paper insert which I've been using as a bullet journal, normal journal, doodle book, smash book, whatever you want to call it. Everything's been going in there, and I'm seeing it overall as one book, because the way I described it in my first video was that if this was in a Filofax, all of these pages would be mingled together and you would still consider the Filofax just as one book. So first things first, I've got my list of notes. You'll remember I said I had this, sorry, just hit the camera. I literally only used this on the on the Tuesday, which was the day before the 1st of July. I can't remember whether it was the 30th or the 31st, forgive me. And I only took it to college for the notes I already had in here. And I also took it to the dentist with me for the notes I already had in here, because it was absolutely pointless me going there not knowing what I needed to talk about. So apart from that, I haven't used this, it's gone to the side. So getting into the diary section of it, pencil and the bit of coloured pen you can see was all written in here before One Book July started, but months and months ago most of this was written down. So any coloured pen you do see, which is just on this page and the page after, was already written in there prior to One Book July. Everything added since then in black has been kept in black pen. Same goes for this sticky note. Month wise, I haven't really changed much on here. In my previous diary insert, which is still in my Fadori, I did colour code to a degree, but I'll get more into that in my weekly bit, because I don't colour code per se. I know that sounds a bit strange. So monthly wise, this has been fine for me visually. I've never really over decorated my monthly pages. I keep them pretty simple. Getting into my week, this was, as you can see, week 1 of One Book July, and you can see this is purple, there's some green here. The green was for my maths and English assessments in college, and then everything else in this section and from on out is in black pen. It's fine for the most part. It's just boring. It's so boring. I don't colour code. I do colour code, but only when I have more than one planner in use. So when I go to college and I have my home planner and I have my personal stuff and then I have my college stuff, I will colour code because I have to visually pick out what is what. At the moment, this is it. so I colour code as and when I please, but it will stay the same for that week. So for example, if I'm using green for college this week, I will use green everywhere for college. So here in the monthly bit, if this week I had to go to college and I felt like using bright pink, I would use pink, but everything related to that would be college. So I hope that makes sense. There's a couple of colours which tend to always be the same. Red is usually money, orange is usually when I've made a purchase online or I'm waiting for something to be delivered from somewhere. Those always they always tend to be the same. Black tends to be used for just general lists, and I used to use grey as doctor's appointments, and then for myself I would just pick whatever colour I felt like for that week. So nothing drastic. It's not terribly hard to use this system. Of course it's not. It's, you know, thousands of people use it like this. But for me it's quite visually boring. I like to look at pretty things. I thought about maybe doodling on these pages, but I think I'd get bored with that. Do you know what I mean? It would be too messy for me. It's one thing pre-decorating, like I did in my previous ones with washi tape and stickers and all of that kind of stuff, but actually doodling I think would distract me from it too much. See, this instantly it just pops out, do you know what I mean? Whereas I flick to this page and it's all a bit so, but apart from that, fine, no problems there, no problems sort of finding anything. It just takes a little bit longer. I will also say quickly, I'm dyslexic. I've said this in a couple of my videos, and I use coloured pen because coloured pen helps me. So if I write with black pen on white paper, and this isn't white paper, it's actually like an ivory colour, the words for some reason tend to jumble up more. Not the words, excuse me, the letters tend to jumble up more so than they do on coloured paper. And I found that if I use coloured pen on a plain, like a white paper or an ivory paper, it doesn't happen so much. Also, I have just quickly, I will talk about this more in a video I've got coming up for my Filofax setup for college, because I've designated different coloured papers to each lesson so that I can, what's the right word for it? So I'm helping myself more, if that makes sense. And the college will actually allow me to print work on coloured paper. Yeah, so I'll do a whole new video, but I just thought I'd add that in. At the moment, because it's not so busy, things aren't too bad, but visually I prefer to use colour to help myself and because it's prettier. So that's the diary bit. Diary bit's fine. I've just been using this to keep the page of what week we're on, because I don't tend to use the bookmark in my Midori. I just let it dangle. Now, moving on to the journally, bullet journal side of things. This was blank when I first made the video for you guys, so I'll just quickly say what I did. I made a goals section, so it says no washi tape, no stickers, no post-its, no colour coding, no pocket printer. Now, I know there's people using post-it notes and stickers, and you're still using your Project Life cards and all of that. This challenge is very personal, so to me, I've decided to take it a step further, and there are things that I've decided not to use to challenge myself. If you're using post-it notes, don't feel bad about it. If you're using 4 coloured pens but usually you use 35, don't feel bad about it. It's a very personal thing. So you may look at this and think I'm being really extreme. I'm not even using paper clips apart from one, and I explained that in my first video. this is the way I've interpreted the challenge. So I've just said to use one diary and notebook for everything, to try and get by with a simplified planner / journal, to go back to basics and to try and not overthink things, to learn what I need and don't need, to learn what I like and don't like, to remember that we don't all need the latest, greatest gadget to have a workable planner and diary, which is true. Then I've got some bullet symbols. Now, I've never bullet journaled in this way. Obviously, I've done bullets and note taking, but I've never used a coded system. And that was hard the first couple of days, to remember to go back and cross things off, and to remember, you know, instead of just doing a square for the dentist, it's a triangle and all of that stuff. But I have to say, I've absolutely been loving the bullet journal and journaling in one section. I think it's just really pleasing to my eye. It's just a mishmash of everything I love, and I've really enjoyed it. However, I have worried about when I'm out, for argument's sake. This was my shopping list, and I did my shopping list on Tuesday, and then I went shopping on the Wednesday. And when I was walking around Asda, I was like, oh, what if people were looking in? I'm sure they're not interested in my diary and they've got better things to look at, but it's just, you know, a little niggling thing I had at the back of my mind. But I've really been enjoying it. So I challenged myself, hence the pencil, to try and do some more sketching and shading. Now, I'm not the best at shading. I don't believe in saying that I can't do anything, because obviously it's here, so I have done it, which means I can. It's all about practice, which I'll talk about actually in a painting I've done in here as well. But I really enjoyed doing this little pencil sketch. It's not the best, the shading is off, I've pressed too hard in places, but I'm trying, and I really enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed doing my little doodles, and this is my washi tape. And I have literally used watercolour for just pops of colour. I did this doodle and I really, really like it. I started with this, and then this weird shape emerged, and I wasn't thinking about it. It was a completely subconscious thing, and it turned into this, and I really, really like it. It reminds me of Cornwall, which I love Cornwall. Here is the bookmark I've been using, paperclip, I've been using, which is to remember this is English, and this was the notes I took when I was at my English taster session. Here is where I've used it as a bit of a scrapbook. My partner bought me some lovely L'Occitane bath products, and when we were in there we took a load of, you know, cologne samples and perfume samples, and I've just stuck them in there, and they've turned the receipt a bit of a funny colour, but I really couldn't care. And here are my doodles. Now, if you live in the UK, you will know that on Saturday night, on the 4th of July, there was the most humongous thunder and electrical storm, and it was amazing. And I sat with my phone tapping away, and I took over 1,000 photographs, and I only got one with a fork of lightning in it, and this is what I was writing about here. And then the next day we went for a walk, and I decided to do this because I was just inspired to do it. And I don't know if you can see, I've been trying to practice shading with pen, which I'm going to get onto in a moment. Actually, I'm going to get onto now. I hate this pen. I absolutely hate it. It's fine for writing in my diary section. For journaling or anything long, it's just a pain in the backside. It constantly skips. I tend to write on a weird angle, so where you kind of have to, you know, write down with this pen, where I'm writing on an angle, it constantly skips. It drives me insane. It makes a really horrible scratchy noise as well, which is a really petty thing, but I'm just not enjoying it. So I'm going to give this pen one more week, and if I'm still really struggling with it, I will just change to a bog standard black biro and be done with it. I'm not even enjoying using it to draw, and it's a very fine pen, but it's just far too scratchy. So I was trying to teach myself how to do shading with pen, and then this is all watercolour, and you can see some more shading on her lips. And this is another thing I was going to say about the can't thing. I could quite easily say here, oh, I can't do skin tone and I can't shade and yada yada. I can, because it's here and it's done and it's shaded, so I just need to practice. So don't say you can't ever. And I've found this book great because I haven't been worrying about what it turns out like. Here I didn't even do much writing. I was just working out if a trip to America would be viable, getting the Amtrak train across from New York to the other side. Very expensive. Takes a lot of time, but it was great fun to work it out. My Filofax arrived, my Malden, which I will be doing a video of. It was the anniversary of the bombings in London, which is a big thing for all of us here, I think. But I actually had a family member who worked for London Underground, and they weren't affected that day in terms of being involved in it, but it did affect them quite badly emotionally afterwards, as it did a lot of people. Here I've just got some, I wanted to make dividers for my Filofax, which I did, so I wrote down which sections I knew I wanted. I was doing carpet samples and working out quotes for them, so that's there. And then today is here, and that's that. And I've just been using my Magna Carta bookmark to keep my page in there. So I'm really enjoying it. I really enjoy how the journal, bullet journal looks. I'm still getting used to the whole bullet journal system, especially because I usually do things in order, whereas I guess I'm using this, or I'm writing this down how you guys would in like your brain dump book. As soon as it comes into my head, I'm putting it down. Now I'm struggling with that a little bit because I'm missing things. I'd usually go, you know, breakfast, lunch, dinner, but I may be writing it down: dinner, breakfast, plan lunch, and I hope that makes sense. But I'm getting there and I'm enjoying it, and I'm going to persevere with it. I'm learning that a different way of journaling that I never thought I would enjoy doing, I'm really enjoying, and I will take that on with me. I already know that I will use that in my next planner or journal. It's just a pen. I hate the bloody pen. I really do. And like I'll try my hardest to give it another week, but I'm not going to really, you know, put myself out over a pen. So if I don't like it and I continue not to like it, I will just use a black biro. So I hope you've enjoyed my 1 week update. I will see you next week, hopefully on time, for my second update and see if anything's changed, what hasn't changed. And you will also see me soon to talk a bit more about using a planner when you're dyslexic and tricks to make that easier, and my college setup, which I'm very excited to show you. So I hope you guys are well. I hope to see your videos, and take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye guys.